Okay, today we're testing out the quality of my iPhone video camera. Normally I use this Canon, which has been a phenomenal piece of equipment. It is the PowerShot G7X and has served me well for over 5 years. But sometimes using your phone is just a touch bit more convenient. So yes, hi, I'm Bree. Welcome back to Bree Reads Books. Yes, Belly is getting big. Rachel just put out her video of all of the baby clothes she sent me, and so I've been enjoying watching that. I've gotten to see the clothes in person, and they're phenomenal. She's just as skilled as everyone says she is. I know, she's been my knitting buddy for forever, and so I've just been geeking out over her stuff this whole morning. But I wanted to sit down and just go over what I've been reading with you, and also, like I said, test out this camera. So yeah, how are you guys doing? It's been a hot minute. If you are, sorry, I've got like a little lump right there because babies do this to your guts where they like go in super weird spots. And then they like to like get themselves like jammed up in very uncomfortable places. So what have you guys been up to? How is life? How is summer going? I have started to actually get to spend some time out in my backyard where I have been hanging out in like our yard chairs and in the hammock and reading, and it has been lovely. It's been phenomenal weather for outside knitting, which is so nice. It's so freeing to get to be outside again on like a consistent level. One of the hardest things I think about this whole pandemic has been, at the very least, aside from all of the like social anxiety things and the like my own anxiety disorders being like, oh my God, the world is ending. Being inside has been really rough. My home is in a part of the country here in the US that's in the Midwest and up at north. And so I am constantly like in the cold, in the snow from like October to honestly sometimes May, the start of May. And so being outside and really enjoying it and having consistently good weather has been so needed. It's almost backfired at this point because now it's like hot and muggy and I'm starting to be like, I don't know if I want to go outside unless we're going to like the lake. But it's been good to have some space, and my backyard is super lovely and shady, and so I've been living it up out there. I wanted to talk to you guys about what I've been reading, like I said. I don't know about you guys. One of the things that has really just saved my whole butt this entire pandemic when it comes to reading has been audiobooks. I use Audible and I use my library's audiobook system because those are both just super convenient. And at this point, I'm listening to like 2 or 3 audiobooks a month on top of, if I'm reading a physical book, then I am also having that. Mostly I've just been listening to audiobooks because it feels a little bit more calming. I think sometimes throughout this pandemic, I've been like unable to sit still to read. Like just the anxiety that I have kind of low grade all the time has made it so that sitting down and doing anything consistently where I can't like constantly get up and like fidget has been really difficult. And so audiobooks, especially the combination of audiobooks and knitting or audiobooks and sewing, has really kind of saved my butt in that way. But I do actually have some physical books, which has been really exciting. And I figured I would take some time to share them with you. I went out after the Hugo's nominees were all announced and picked up some books. I have 3 really short things that I'm reading right now, but I also have a pile of other stuff. And then, of course, my audiobooks. So for audiobooks, we'll do that first because it's kind of quick. Right now, I am just finishing up The 4 Profound Weaves, which has been really interesting to listen to. I didn't realize at first that it was multiple perspectives, and so I had to go back and listen to the first like 20 minutes again. Not a big deal, just something that kind of happened. Once I realized what was going on, I was like, oh, okay, I can get in that headspace. And so that's been interesting. It's been really interesting to think about the dialogue between culture and identity and what it means to kind of run against the grain, to kind of find acceptance, but also not find acceptance at the same time. Kind of how those things can coexist for people has been really interesting to think through as I've been listening to it. I also have the bone houses, which I haven't really gotten into because I decided to focus more on the Four Profound Weaves. My partner and I have both been re-listening to a couple of different things. We finished A Desolation Called Peace, and we finished an audiobook for one other thing, and I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. But it's really enjoyable for me when I get to listen to a story with them. My partner, he is got just a wildly different perspective on things than I do, and so having those conversations has been really fun. As far as physical books, I have 3 things that are on my immediate docket that I'm trying to get done before the end of the month, and we'll see. Like I said, sometimes I'm still just having a hard time sitting down and just doing the one task. I feel just so much more fidgety than I used to be. And then of course, I'm kind of vaguely uncomfortable just in general sometimes right now. But I have Finna by Nino Cipri. This is interesting because in, I want to say it was 2014 or 2015, Grady Hendrix and Quirk Books put out a book that was called Horror Store, which is also set, both of these books are set in basically an IKEA. So it's interesting. I keep thinking back to that as I'm reading through this. But it's been enjoyable. I'm just kind of getting to the crux of the excitement. It's really short. I mean, it's a Tor.com novella, one that is up for the nominees. Hi. Do you want to say hi, or did you just want to be in the way? This is what I deal with every day, all day during work. I don't know what he's going to do if I ever have to leave my house again. Because this is the clingiest cat you've ever met. For those of you who don't know Soren, this is my cat Soren. I have 2 cats, Soren and Wally. Wally is much more independent, and Soren here is a big baby. And then I have both of the graphic novels. Sorry, that was a total tangent. I have both of the graphic novels, 1 and 2, for Invisible Kingdom. And I've been really looking forward to reading this. I've read a lot of G. Willow Wilson's stuff, including her novels. And so I've had my eye on Invisible Kingdom actually for quite a while, since I found out that she was going to be doing something for Image. And I'm always really reluctant to pick up individual issues of trades as opposed to the trade bind up, because for me it's just easier, and honestly it's cheaper to do the bind ups, the trade comics. I am in love with the art in here. Let's see if I can get a good shot of some of the insides. The art is by Christian Ward, who also worked on Odyssey. That's ODY-C, which is the gender bent in space version of the Odyssey vis-a-vis Homer. And so I'm like, the art is just super eye-catching. I love Christian Ward's style. I love his use of color throughout everything he's basically ever done. And then I have really enjoyed G. Willow Wilson's voice and stuff. I have read some of her other comic works, like when she was working on Miss Marvel. I definitely was picking those up at the time and following that fairly closely. So that's what I have. I also have some books that I have picked up that I don't have on my immediate to-do list, because I'm still so nervous about getting back into reading physical books. For those of you who've been around, you know that I really have loved The Lodestar. I have some thoughts in general about, adult science fiction and fantasy lovers talking about YA fantasy and fiction, but I've really enjoyed the category and getting to explore some of the fiction that's targeted specifically for people who are younger, especially because I find that really the YA crowd has been really proactive in the ways that YA publishing has approached inclusion and issues of diversity and kind of listening to their audience in that way. And, you know, Gen Z and Gen Alpha, that's what they're calling the ones after Gen Z, have been very frank and forthcoming about kind of their experiences with identity and politics and those kind of things. So it's a very interesting dynamic that I'm always interested in kind of peeking through into how that affects their storytelling. So I did pick up Raybearer by Jordan Ifueko. This was one that was nominated. And then I also picked up Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. Again, one that was nominated for the Lodestar. And so I'm really excited to read through those. I've been really lucky in that I have finally started to get to go back to an in-person bookstore. So my favorite in-person science fiction and fantasy bookstore was Uncle Hugo's science fiction bookstore, and that burned down in the riots last year. And so I have since started going to Dreamhaven, which has been around not quite as long, but has a really established presence. They were, for instance, at the Kansas City Worldcon. They had a booth and were selling books there, and have been around for a really long time. They just weren't the store that I frequented most. And so I've been enjoying getting to know more of their stuff and exploring their collection and what they sell. It's a very different vibe than Uncle Hugo's, but I was lucky in that I picked up those two as well when I was there. I was a little surprised because they normally are really good about putting out displays specifically for certain things. Like, I'm surprised there wasn't a Hugo's display. But that's been great. And also they have all of the Penrick novels signed by Bujold. So I have also been slowly picking those up. I'm actually super excited about those right now. One, because novel length Penrick, and two, because my partner, he is finally picking those up after I've been telling him for like years, please, dear God, pick up the Penrick books. They're so good. And so he's finally doing that. Anyway, that's just kind of a little bit of a TBR and a ramble. Let me know how you guys are doing. Let me know if the quality of this video transfers okay to YouTube and the audio. Like I said, this is kind of a test run. I haven't used my phone in a very long time to record. I almost always use that Canon. And so I'm interested in seeing your guys' thoughts on that. I hope you guys are having a really lovely day. It's beautiful and like 70 here, so I'm going to hopefully get outside, and I hope you get some time to do whatever it is you're enjoying. I'll talk to you guys later, okay? You know the drill. Comment, like, subscribe. Bye. See if I can juggle this.